In our last Waste Watch report, we focused on the Beaumont transit system. Since then, we have learned that the #1 complaint of the public to the transit system in recent years deals with the new Social Security Administration building in the west end of the city. More in tonight's Waste Watch report. If you pay federal taxes, you're helping foot the bill for this Social Security Administration building in the west end of Beaumont near Dishman Road and Major Drive. It was built in 2009. But the fact is, if you rely on the Beaumont transit system for transportation and you need to get to the building, you'd better put on your walking shoes. That's because the closest bus stop is really not close at all. It's here near Phelan Boulevard and Major Drive. Bus drivers have told us stories about older people who have had no other alternative but to walk from here all the way to Dishman Road.
These boots are made for walking, and that's just what they'll do.
It's exactly a mile and a half from that bus stop to the Social Security building. Walking 3 miles round trip, especially in the heat, can be difficult, if not dangerous for some. So it's not surprising in recent years, according to the transit system, the #1 complaint from the public is that the Social Security building is not on any city bus route. We're turning onto Major Drive now from Phelan Boulevard near this market basket here on the corner. By the way, there is no sidewalk for people who have to walk down this busy road to get to the Social Security building on Dishman. But how is it that such an important public facility is not located on a city bus route?
But that is an issue that was not created by the city, nor by the city bus services.
Councilman Audwin Samuel says the city warned Social Security officials before the property was selected that there were no plans to add a bus route to that location, a route which would cost the city almost $300,000 a year.
They made the decision to put it there, away from the mass population that uses the Social Security office.
Former Councilwoman Nancy Beaulieu represented the area where the building is located when it was built about 3 years ago.
I was very shocked.
Beaulieu says she had repeated discussions with Social Security officials before the property was selected, but eventually she was told the decision had been made by a government official in another city to put the building in the West End.
I was shocked that they would have so little respect for the people they serve that they would not consider even downtown would have been better, accessible to everybody, and the bus routes come and go from all parts of town.
Ironically, the 2006 advertisement by the General Services Administration seeking possible locations for the building said, quote, "Locations must be as convenient to the visiting public as possible. Primary consideration in selecting boundaries will be accessibility by the public." General Services Administration spokesperson Trista Allen said the location was probably selected because it met other needs of the Social Security Administration, and the cost may have been lower than other alternatives. Social Security spokesperson Charlie Bridian in Dallas said local managers tried hard in the past to get a bus route added, and they're eager to work with the city again to see if something can be done. But Councilman Samuel doesn't believe the city should have to cover the additional cost.
For us to have to look at cutting a needed portion of our service to provide, to address a concern that they made, I don't think that's fair.
One of these days, these boots are gonna walk all over you.
All right, we made it here to Major and Dishman just as it's starting to rain. Now, if we can get across this busy road here, we can see the Social Security Administration building right over there. Looks like a nice place, a good place to rest before we begin the trip back to the bus stop a mile and a half away. And in case you're wondering what kind of deal the government got on the building, the government doesn't own it. It is leasing the building. It is owned by an investment group in Virginia. The 15-year lease calls for the government to pay rent of more than $46,000 every month for the 18,000 square foot building, which is valued at $2 million on the tax rolls. The rent includes maintenance and utilities. At that rate, if the government stayed in the building for 15 years, it could have bought and paid for it 4 times. We also want to say that while researching this report, it became apparent to us that the local employees had nothing to do with selecting a location for the building, and they seem to genuinely care about the people who turn to them for help. Now, if you have a Waste Watch tip, you can email us at wastewatch@kfdm.com.